Hey, what is going on, Guardians? My name is TheBlackLink, and today is Thursday, August 30th, 2018. You all know what that means. It's another Thursday. It's time for another Bungie weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. And of course, this has already been a rather busy week. We've got Forsaken coming out next week. Can you believe we're less than a week away from the drop of this thing? Holy moly, how time freaking flies. But this week has already been really chock full of news, and I like to say that there's a little bit of a saying that goes along with things. Any week where there's patch notes dropped or any sort of big update dropped with a lot of information coming out, usually the TWAB for that week will be a little bit light on details. And of course, this week continues that trend. This week's TWAB doesn't really have too much to talk about, but there are a few important things that I did want to bring up, including a recently announced Gambit tournament, Bungie's presence at PAX, and we also got a look at some of the incoming console exclusive, that's right, PlayStation exclusive content coming when Forsaken drops next week. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, of course, this week we had the drop of the massive Update 2.0. It radically changed the way Destiny 2 is played. We've got the new weapon system. We've got some new Forsaken items actually dropping in the world space thanks to some of the flashpoints on Mars this week, and plenty of other things going on. Needless to say, it's been an insane week. And the blog this week starts off wrapping up some of the biggest bits of information that we've gotten. Stuff like the Forsaken launch trailer, stuff like the Bungie Vidoc we got earlier in the week. If you've been keeping up with the channel and all the videos we've been putting out, a lot of this is basically going to be a refresher course for you. Just trying to get Guardians caught up on everything that's happened this week. If you've been a bit behind on some of the newest information, be sure to go back and check out some of our videos covering all of the stuff that came out this week. But be warned, there's a lot of spoilery stuff in there. But it covers information concerning the Forsaken story, the Bungie Vidoc, the Destiny 2 Forsaken post-launch content roadmap that we got, which shows off a lot of what's going to be coming as the free seasonal content, as well as what's going to be coming within the premium paid annual pass content, those 3 content releases, Joker's Wild, Penumbra, and of course the Black Armory, the last of which is going to be dropping later this year in December. And really, there was a lot of great information in that roadmap. We got to see that we're going to be getting heavy machine guns back this December. That's going to be a free update for every player of Destiny 2. I could not be happier about that. But again, we've got videos covering all of that right here on the channel. So moving on, the first big bit of news covered in this week's blog is the fact that we're going to be getting a Gambit showdown and of course the Gambit trial later this week. On September 1st, every player of Destiny 2 will be invited to try Gambit before the launch of Forsaken. For 24 hours, fire teams will bank motes in a race to beat their opponent and burn down a primeval. But tomorrow, August 31st, 2018, before the games begin for everyone, we're inviting some special guests into our studio to show how it's done. And that's right, we're getting a little bit of a live stream show with the Destiny 2 Forsaken Gambit showdown. Bungie's invited these 2 teams of Guardians to duke it out in the Gambit Showdown. This is going to be happening again on Friday, tomorrow, August 31st, 2018 at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And it's going to be hosted by our buddies Imtash, Dr. Lupo, and of course, the man himself, Deej. The showdown should be a fun way to showcase the incoming Gambit game mode. And of course, on Saturday, September 1st, one day after this tournament, everyone who owns Destiny 2 is going to get a chance to dive on into Gambit and play it for a full 24 hours. The trial will begin on Saturday, September 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific time and go until Sunday, September 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Bungie is also planning on placing a few exclusive bounties during the Gambit trial event. These bounties will grant you the Sign of Mutual Combat emblem, so if you've been chasing after that one, keep your eyes peeled. I know I am going to be all about this game mode when Saturday rolls around. But alright, moving on from there, Bungie is going to be having a pretty decent presence at this year's PAX West. If you live in or around Seattle, Washington, you might want to pay a little bit of a visit to this expo, as Bungie will be there all weekend to host Gambit matches, hang out at signing tables, and offer some sweet Destiny gear for purchase from the Bungie store, of course. They'll be located at booth 229 on the 4th floor. And of course we'll have Gambit playable on the floor for the public. And you'll also have the chance to meet some of the devs who bring Destiny and Destiny 2 to life. They'll be there for both Friday and Saturday, so you should have plenty of time if you're heading to that event. Alright, and moving on from there, we've got some interesting news about Bungie bringing down the ban hammer on individuals who might be, let's say, taking advantage of others within the competitive playlist utilizing poor connections. The Bungie security team took the seat to talk a bit about some of the security measure changes that are going to be coming as we move forward within Destiny 2. Here's what they had to say. Effective September 4th, 2018, we will apply more restrictions and bans to player accounts that benefited from opponent disconnects at a highly abnormal frequency throughout Season 3 with our improved detection methods. This will include voluntary disconnects when players are repeatedly matching against the same opponents. And depending on the severity of infractions, players may receive Crucible restrictions and bans. This will remove access to Pinnacle Crucible rewards such as Redrix's Claymore, Redrix's Broadsword, and Luna's Howl, and any Pinnacle Crucible rewards released in the future. For the most severe infractions, players may permanently lose access to all Destiny 2 activities, including PvE. Now, this is of course in response to the recent trend of DDoSing making its return to game modes like Trials and of course the competitive playlist as Guardian teams are trying to work towards their Redrix's Claymore. That's been a huge problem within the community for quite a while now, and it's nice to see that Bungie is stepping up their security measures to really take action against teams that, well, don't want to play fairly. They just take some time here to talk about the sophistication behind their detection methods when it comes to cheating like this, and they want to assure everybody that they're going to be pushing for severe consequences for individuals who like to DDoS within competitive game modes or really any game mode. And I'm certainly happy to see that they're addressing this within this week's TWAB. I've got a buddy of mine who has been rushing for the Claymore for the past couple of weeks, trying to get it before Forsaken comes out. And man, he had a rough time with his group just getting DDoSed over and over again. He was able to get the Claymore though, so congrats to him. But I'm really glad to see that Bungie is trying to tackle this issue head on. Lord knows, DDoSing was a massive problem back in Trials of Osiris in Destiny 1, and it certainly had its problems here in D2, so I'm glad to see they're doing something about it. But alright, Guardians, that is pretty much it for the biggest bits of information within this week's TWAB. Again, a lot of it was just a wrap up of some of the things we've already learned this week, plus the incoming Gambit tournament and Bungie's presence at Pax West. There really wasn't too much for them to cover after they've already put out the information that they have earlier in the week. But that is not all we've got to talk about tonight. Of course, we've got some more news about the incoming PlayStation exclusive content that's going to be dropping alongside Destiny 2 Forsaken. This information comes to us from the official PlayStation blog, where we get to see a new legendary armor set for the three main classes, the new PlayStation exclusive exotic, as well as a new PlayStation exclusive strike. Cue the cheering from maybe a fourth of the audience of Guardians out there. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, earlier in the week, of course, we spoke a bit about some of the exotics that have been revealed within the database. Well, one of those exotics was the Wavesplitter exotic trace rifle. This is the new incoming Void trace rifle. Unfortunately, this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive for the time being. The article itself takes a bit of time to talk about this weapon and the special ability that's tied to it. Here's what I had to say. Wavesplitter is a fascinating new exotic weapon from the makers of Coldheart. It's the latest in City Age technology, using focused sonic waves to superheat electrons into a devastating energy beam. The weapon has 3 power levels that oscillate when the trigger is held down. This is communicated to the weapon's wielder via various indicators, laser thickness, sound effects, and a meter on the weapon. The kicker? Wavesplitter can be powered up to its maximum level for a short period when an orb of light is collected, ensuring maximum devastation. And I've got to say, it is a pretty unique looking weapon. I am a little bit bummed that the final part of the trace rifles, we've been waiting for a Void trace rifle for a while. I'm a little bit bummed that this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. I was really looking forward to trying the Wavesplitter on PC, but it looks like I'm going to have to wait quite a few months before that happens. Alright, next up we've got the new exclusive strike, Broodhold. Broodhold is Forsaken's new PlayStation exclusive strike for any Guardian willing to delve into the depths of the Tangled Shore and eradicate a troublesome hive infestation. Fight through a crashed hive tomb ship teeming with thralls, acolytes, and knights until you face the hive brood queen. We also get some great shots of the strike environment as well as the hive brood queen herself. Now, this hive brood queen will alternate between a physical and shadow form, employing different abilities in each state. Guardians will have to stay aware to guard against her physical attacks through smart use of cover and positioning. To survive against the queen while in her shadow form, Guardians would be wise to keep moving and avoid being poisoned. We actually get to see some gameplay of this courtesy of PlayStation Underground, showing off the strike in its entirety. And honestly, the strike itself looks pretty cool. It's got kind of a design similar to some of the hive-themed areas on Mars, and even some architecture that's kind of reminiscent of the Dreadnought from back in the Taken King. Definitely an interesting strike. Again, I'm a little bit bummed that it's one of those things that's just going to be console exclusive for the time being, but it is a very interesting looking strike, and it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. Throughout the strike, we also get to see some great gameplay of the Wavesplitter itself, showing how the weapon can power up as you hold the trigger and pick up orbs of light. In addition to that, we also get some great shots at some new weapons and the new mod system coming within Forsaken as well. I would definitely recommend checking this out. There will be a link to this article as well as this video down in the description box below if you want to watch this strike in its entirety. Alright, and after that, we've got some new exclusive armor sets coming to PlayStation. Here we just get a quick look at the new Hunter, Warlock, and Titan gear that's coming to PlayStation. In particular, I think the Titan gear looks pretty cool. You're kind of like a mini, weird, smoothened out Gundam. Not too sure how I feel about the Warlock armor though. There's nothing really too standoutish there. The PlayStation exclusive Warlock armor set is going to be titled the Thorium Holt. The Hunter set is going to be called the Red Moon Phantom. And finally, the Titan set is called the Mimetic Savior. So keep your eyes out for those if you're playing on PlayStation 4. Alright, finally, we've got a new exclusive ship, the Great Beyond. It looks like it's kind of just a retexture of one of the models we've already got in the game right now, so there's nothing really too big there. Finally, of course, PS4 owners can head to the PlayStation Store right now to pick up the free Cade 6 theme for all the sad feels about Destiny 2. But alright, that is it for the PlayStation exclusive content. You guys already know how I feel about this sort of stuff. I never think it's a good idea to have console-based exclusivity for any sort of content in a game like this. But this is really par for the course when it comes to Destiny. There hasn't been a single season, I don't think, of content between D1 and D2 where there hasn't been some PlayStation exclusive stuff, so can't really be too surprised about it now. I am disappointed. I am really disappointed, though, that the Wavesplitter is the PS exclusive exotic. I really wanted to get that Void Trace rifle on all of the major platforms. But that is going to be it for this one, Guardians. And of course, those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. Are you somebody who's had a rough time in the comp playlist as of late? You've been getting DDoSed? Well, hopefully these incoming security changes are really going to drop the ban hammer on some of those malcontents playing around like that. But alright, it's going to be it for this one. If you Guardians enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am TheBlackLink. You Guardians, stay frosty.